Now let's make his leg cuffs, and you're going to make 2 of these, 1 for each leg. So with yellow DK yarn, I'm going to slip knot onto my hook. I'm going to chain 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Now into the second chain from hook, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. And I'm going to do a single crochet into all of the stitches along. So I'll have 14 single crochets at the end of this row. And at the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and I'm going to single crochet back across all these 14 stitches. So another 14 single crochets. And after my last single crochet, I'm going to chain 1 and then fasten off. And I've left a little bit of a longer tail because we'll use that to sew the cuff onto his leg. So I'm going to find my embroidery needle again, thread the long tail onto my needle, place his cuff where I want it to go, so about there looks right, then sew it into place. So next, with some black DK yarn, I'm going to contour his stomach muscles, if you like. So I'm literally just going to hand sew with a back stitch certain muscles into place. Next, I'm going to show you how to make the light for his chest. Now for this Iron Man, I'm going to be using felt, and I'll show you how to make it out of felt, but I'll also show you how to make it out of yarn and a crochet hook in case you don't have felt knocking about. So I'm going to begin with my white felt, and I have a compass cutter, and I've got the compass cutter set at the moment. Let's have a look on the smallest that it'll go, which is 5mm, so 5mm radius. And then I am just going to cut on my safety board a circle out of white. There we go. Now I want to make a circle out of blue also, that the white will be attached to. So I'm going to make my circle cutter 1mm, actually 2mm bigger. So I'm now 7mm, and I am going to cut another circle. You can cut these by hand if you don't have a circle cutter, but I may as well use it because I've got it. So now with some fabric glue, I'm going to put a dot into the centre of the blue and then place the white on top. There we go. Some of the felt's a bit loose on this, so I'm just going to give it a trim. Then if we bring in Iron Man, I'm going to glue the light to the centre of his chest again. So with the fabric glue, I'm going to put a smidge in the centre of the back and then attach it just between his pectoral muscles. Give it a good press. Now if you don't have any felt, you're going to make his centre chest light with white DK yarn. And I'm going to slip knot onto my hook and I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. Now into the second chain from hook, I'm going to do 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we made to join our work and fasten off. And I'd use this tile to sew the light on in place of the felt. So the choice is up to you. Now I'm going to show you how to make his mask. So with yellow yarn, I'm going to start with a slip stitch, slip knot onto hook, and I'm going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. And I'm going to single crochet into the second chain from hook and into the next chain along. So we have 2 single crochets. I'm then going to chain 1 and turn my work. For the next row, I'm going to increase these 2 stitches to 4. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets into each stitch. So 1 and 2 into the first stitch, 3 and 4 into the second stitch, chain 1 and turn. For our next row, we're going to increase to 6 stitches. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch, 1 and 2. Now I'm going to single crochet across 2 stitches, 1 and 2. And into the last stitch of this row, I'm going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Chain 1 and turn our work. For the next row, we're going to increase again to 8 stitches. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch, 1 and 2. Single crochet across 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And into the last stitch, I'm going to do another 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Chain 1 and turn. So now I'm going to single crochet across these 8 single crochets for 3 rows. So I'm going to single crochet and chain 1, turn my work, and I'm going to do that 3 times. So 3 rows of single crochet 8. For the next row, I'm only going to single crochet 3 stitches. So single crochet across 3 stitches, 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1 and turn our work. And then I'm going to single crochet across 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and into the third stitch I'm going to do 3 single crochet all into that 1 stitch, 1, 2 and 3. So if I flatten my work for a moment, I did the 3 single crochets here so that I could turn the working point of my work, because I want to now single crochet all the way around the bottom of his mask to the opposite side, where I can do 3 single crochets again. So I did the 3 single crochets here so I could turn the work, rotate it round, and now I'm going to make single crochets down the side of his mask. There's no chain spaces here, so you're just going to have to improvise and insert your hook into holes at evenly spaced intervals. When you get to the bottom of the mask, into the 2 chains at the very bottom, we're going to do 3 single crochets into each of these stitches, and that's to allow us to rotate around the bottom of the mask. So into the bottom 2 stitches we're going to do 3 single crochets, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2 and 3. Now I'm going to single crochet up the opposite side of the mask. And when we get to the other side, into the first stitch of this row on the opposite side, I'm going to insert my hook and I'm going to do 2 single crochets into that stitch, 1 and 2. Now I'm going to single crochet across 2 stitches, so we'll have 3 single crochets in a line here. 1 and 2. Now chain 1, turn my work. Now I'm going to single crochet back across these 3 single crochets. 1, 2 and 3. And then I can slip stitch to join and fasten off. And don't forget to leave a long tail because we'll use that to sew it on. So I've brought Iron Man back in and I'm going to attach his mask next. So I'm going to pin it down first. Then I can attach the tail onto my embroidery needle and I'm going to sew it into place. Now onto his arm. So with my red DK yarn again, I'm going to begin with a slip knot onto my hook and I'm going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. Into the second chain from hook, I'm going to do 6 single crochets all into that chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Ooh. And 6. So we did 6 single crochets all into that one chain space. For our next row, I want to increase these 6 stitches to 9. So I'm going to single crochet into one stitch, then I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the following stitch 3 times. So into the first stitch, I'm going to do 1 single crochet. Then I'm going to do 2 single crochets into the next stitch for 2 and 3. Then I'm going to single crochet for 4, increase in the next stitch for 5 and 6. Single crochet for 7 and increase in the next stitch for 8 and 9. So I now have 9 stitches and I'm going to single crochet around these stitches for 17 rows. So 17 rows of single crochet around. So after your 17th row, I'm going to slip stitch to join and fasten off. And I'm going to leave a longer tail so that I can sew his arm onto his body. And next we need to stuff his arm. Now to make his arm cuff, I'm going to start with the yellow DK yarn. I'm going to slip knot onto hook and I'm going to chain 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. And I'm going to do a single crochet into the second chain from hook and all chains across. So I'll have 11 single crochets at the end of this row. Then at the end of the row, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work and single crochet back across these 11 stitches. And after that, I'm going to chain 1 to fasten off. Now if I bring my arm back in, I'm going to sew this cuff around the arm like I did with the leg cuff. So about halfway down the arm, I'm going to sew it together. Now I want to add a hand light and an elbow pad for him. So I made a flashlight exactly the same way as I made his chest light, and I made one of them for each arms, and I'm going to glue this onto the palm of his hand as his hand light with the fabric glue from before. So press that into place. And then on the back of his arm, where his elbow would be, I've cut out a circle of white felt, and I'm just going to put that on his elbow. Remember, if you haven't got felt, you can always crochet circles and use them instead. And now we can attach his arm. So I've attached this long tail onto my embroidery needle. And by the way, I finished his face off by making his eyes and his mouth out of felt. So we just cut white and blue felt, and again some black felt into rectangles and glued them on. If you haven't got felt, you can literally just hand sew these on with some yarn. And with the top of his arm, I'm going to press it flat from front to back. And I'm going to seal it by just sewing the top stitches together in a line. Then I'm going to hold his arm into place and sew it on. And there you have our completed Iron Man. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you did and you haven't already, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. And if you're not a current subscriber, subscribe now and you'll never miss any of these goofy crochet tutorials. If you do happen to make any of these creations, don't forget to tag me on Instagram and hashtag Teeny Crochets for a follow back. And other than that, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now!